Problem 3. One apple and one banana together cost 11 kroners. One orange and one banana together cost 13 kroner. And one apple and one orange together cost 12 kroner. How many kroner must you pay for one apple, one banana, and one orange? Okay, so how to think about this problem? So you're dealing with 3 different types of fruit. And you're given some information about how much they cost when you take, a certain number of one fruit and another one, and then it adds up to some number. Let's try to write that in our own way using equations. So the first one would be, of course, first thing I want to do is that I want to simplify this for myself, and I want to say apple is A. Bananas are B. And oranges are going to be O. So now I have A, B, and O that I'm dealing with. This, of course, it's going to make it easier than I have to write apple and banana all the time. It's going to save us time. So let's write the information that they're giving us. As they're saying one apple, I'll just write that as A. And one banana together cost 11 kroners. I can write that like this. And then you have one orange, right, O, plus one banana costs 13. Then, of course, you have one apple at the end, and then one orange together cost 12 kroners. All right, so now I have 3 equations, fairly simple equations to deal with, and we have 3 unknowns. So A is how many apples are there, and B, how many, how much, rather not how many apples, but how much does an apple cost? That's A, and B, same thing, and O. So let's think about how we can perhaps make sense of these 3 equations. And is there any more information, some additional information that we can derive from these 3 things? Now, in order to do this in a very systematic way, I want to write these things in a slightly different way than I've done now. So let me go here and delete this information. I'm going to do it in a different way. So let's see. First, I want to write a header to this thing. So I want to say apples. That's A, and then I want to give it some space, and I'll say bananas. And then I'm going to say oranges. I'm going to make a line here. I'm going to say, let me first write that first equation. So this one right here. One apple plus one banana costs equals 11. And then I'm going to say the second one, which is one orange. So let's say one orange. And then one banana, so one here. That costs how much? 13. 13. And then we have, at the end, we have one apple. And then we have one orange, which costs 12. Maybe you're already seeing how we can go further here, because at this point we can see that if we were to make another line here and we were to add all of these equations up, let's take a pause here and make sure that this is something that we can actually do. Can we just add all of these equations up? Yes, you can. You can't just do it in any way that you want, but as long as you write the equation in a way where you have the apples for themselves, the banana for themselves, and the oranges for themselves, and then the numbers for themselves, there's no problem with that. Let me give you a practical example. Think of this as 3 friends that made 3 separate visits to the grocery store. And the first one got 1 banana and 1 apple. The first one here, the first person, let's say that's Abel, A. And that cost 11 kroners. So on the receipt, it says 11 kroners. Now, the second person goes and then gets 1 banana and 1 orange. On the receipt, it says 13 kroners. Then the third person goes there and gets 1 banana, 1 apple and 1 orange, and that cost on the receipt, it says 12 kroners. If all of them come back home and put all the fruits in their own separate fruit baskets, you're going to have 2 apples, and then you're going to have 2 bananas, and then you're going to have 2 oranges, right? There's nothing wrong in doing that. When you come home, you get all the stuff from the grocery bags, and then you put it in different baskets. And that's what you're doing here by adding them up. Now, what you'd have to do is you have to look at the 3 different receipts that you have, and you would have to add the numbers for that, right? How much it cost you in total. So that would be, in this case, 1 plus 3 plus 2, so that's 6. And then, of course, this number would be 3 or 30. And so altogether, this cost 36 kroners. Now maybe you can see what we're going to do next, because very conveniently, we have 2 apples, 2 bananas, and 2 oranges, and we have 36 over here. What can we do to make this simpler? Now, keep in mind that the problem is asking you for how many kroner must you pay for 1 apple, 1 banana, and 1 orange. Sorry, that wrong, like that. What that means is that basically they're asking you for what is A plus B plus O. How do we get there from this thing right here? Well, let's do a division by 2 for every term. All that means is that we're going to divide this by 2, this 2, and this 2, and this 2. Let's do that. Let's do A plus B. And O, of course, 36 divided by 2. What's that going to be? That's going to be 18. And there you go. The final answer then must be 18. Now, I want to just comment on this because this is a type of problem that comes over and over. Usually there's this type of problem per every, contest or every year. And sometimes this one particularly is a pretty easy one, I would say. Sometimes it's not good enough for you to just add all the equations together. Sometimes you have to do something else where you maybe multiply one of the equations by something first and then you add or subtract. But usually, if you find yourself going along a path of, then I have to specifically find out how much 1 apple costs, then 1 banana, then orange, then add those numbers up, that's usually not the right way to think here, because these math competitions, the people who make them, they're not that interested in testing you for a lot of like calculations that you can do correctly, right? And so usually there is a lot more elegant solution that you can come up with, which in this case we don't even really care how much they cost individually. All we want to know is the sum of all those, and that's how you could do it here. So this is just one way that I like to do it. This is a very kind of structured way of thinking about these kind of problems. So I hope that was helpful.